Yeah, it's me, Jackie Murray. Don't give me that look. That's right. Let's get sweaty. Let's get real sweaty. I'm talking rainforest.
Welcome to the hottest wrestling show of all time, The Heel's Turn. I ain't Sammy Garvea. I'm Jimmy Askins, and this is my co-host, Jack Quinn. We're ready to get after it here, talking about all of the great wrestling we've seen this week. Actually,
bringing energy, man.
You gotta get going.
I didn't even see you come in with that panda.
That
just came out.
Yeah, man.
Shook.
Sammy Guevara, he comes out with that freaking. I'm not sure I'm saying his name right. He comes out with a panda bear,
Some serious drip.
Yeah, man, he's the greatest ever apparently, and he Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. So I was paying homage to him. I'm not Sammy. I'm Jimmy from the Q. Here hosting this great wrestling talk show with my best friend Jack Quinn. Premiere week of the WWE. Raw, kind of a letdown. SmackDown, pretty good. NXT, solid all around. But we had the draft, and the draft was a little corny. Who won the draft? Who do you think won the draft, JQ?
To be honest with you, I probably would say SmackDown, only because the star talent that they have on the show right now just kind of seems more in depth to what because like as I mentioned last week, they're probably gonna put most of their talent on SmackDown to try to make it the A show, and Raw still has a lot of great talent. They, like I said, they got the Randy Ortons, they're keeping Becky Lynch, they're keeping Seth Rollins, but from a storyline point of view, I feel like they're gonna be gearing more of the headline matches on SmackDown. So
we'll get more into the rosters in a little bit, but first I just want to say thank you for everyone that tuned into episode 1. Great showing and support. I appreciate everyone that watched us, and I of course appreciate Shlomo Bo, Mass Music headquarters. We're in here October 19th. Young studs here, Quincy Point, making it happen. JQ, Hell in a Cell. We knew it.
Trash.
I mean, I did say I thought for a second the Fiend was going to pull it out.
It wasn't happening. I told you it wasn't happening.
But
I don't have all the answers, but I have some answers, and I knew it wasn't happening.
It was quite the sad ending, of course.
Depressing. It was depressing.
They did a ref stoppage in a Hell in a Cell to end the Fiend and Seth Rollins' Hell in a Cell match for the Universal title. They blew it.
Week.
They really blew it. After this whole week of preparation, you had Raw, NXT, and Wednesday SmackDown. Then you had Hell in a Cell, and if you really look at it, they did not give me a reason to be excited for the upcoming episodes. And of course, the upcoming episodes were the draft.
Yeah.
And
they also had the leverage too. You would think, like in the same week, in one of the first couple weeks that NXT just AEW just premiered. They have WWE's having a pay-per-view, so you think they would capitalize, having 3 products against 1. No, they just completely dropped.
What was the crowd chanting after the end of the match?
AEW, they're chanting another promotion, so therefore that just kind of goes to show you that,
They're booing Seth Rollins, which Seth Rollins last year around this time was red hot. Yep. No bigger superstar. It's a hard thing in wrestling right now. It almost seems like if you have a top babyface, people... Well, smart fans, and at least a lot of the fans, they like heels like us. And fair enough. We can't blame you. Of course, being charming, of course, being cocky, being brash is great and all. And it almost seems like if you're in the position of being the top babyface, at least the WWE, you're going to get booed. And Seth Rollins was doing a good job of being a babyface, but getting, cheering and people being excited for it.
He's just like...
Now...
He fell off.
He's
man.
uncool.
He's like generic.
Yeah.
He's just like... something about him.
He's
man.
that guy trying to fit in. It was it's kind of similar to Roman Reigns when he first got shoved down our throats as the top guy. The corniness.
I'd rather have Roman Reigns now as anything.
Well, that's SmackDown's top guy right now.
And that's how it always is, man. You always complain about what you don't want until you get what you want.
Always greener.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're like, let's try the other Shield member, and then they let Ambrose walk, and it's like, all right, well, damn. Now there's AEW. So
of course, Rollins being drafted to Raw. Raw really, I think, in my opinion, you said you think SmackDown won. I have to agree with you. I think Raw lost.
Yeah.
But they still have some firepower. They have Becky Lynch. Do you think Becky Lynch can hold down a brand and be their top star? Because I think they're really pushing for Becky Lynch to be the top star of Monday Night Raw.
You want my honest answer?
Yeah.
100%.
100% honest answer.
The way they're marketing Becky Lynch, and her wrestling quality is, it's not just mediocre. Like, she actually is I've had to warm up to her. Like, I thought her gimmick, like the man, like when it first happened, like when she was in the stands and her face was bloody, like I thought that was the dopest thing I've ever seen. But other than that, like I don't know. I stopped liking her. But right now, I think she's in a good position to take control over Monday Night Raw.
I think Becky Lynch can hold down Monday Night Raw because of one person, though. Charlotte Flair. Woo! Yeah. And that rivalry, I think, is really good. And I think Charlotte Flair is one of the best female wrestlers of all time. I think if they have a good rivalry and just the entertainment value of Charlotte Flair.
She's the LeBron James of professional wrestling.
Yeah, Stone Cold has to have The Rock. You got to have someone to feud with. And Becky Lynch, she's been champion for a while. Charlotte may be coming for that crown soon.
Very quickly before we talk about anything else, I don't understand why they give Charlotte the title so many times just for her to hold it for maybe 2 weeks or so.
Break her daddy's record.
Yeah, I understand that, but what's the word, like oversaturation? You expose someone like just like, for example, like Jericho, one of my favorite wrestlers. I looked one time and it was like Jericho's an 8-time Intercontinental Champion, which is great. But then I'm like, damn, that means Jericho's lost the title. Obviously,
more longevity for him.
He's in AEW
Jericho,
now, so obviously not the Intercontinental Champion. That's fine. You have the right to lose the title, just like how booking goes. But I'm just like, I don't know. That's why sometimes when I say the Undertaker, he's only like a 4-time champion. Adds I don't know, a little bit more prestige in my opinion. But
we ask, can Becky hold it down? But I gotta ask you, why did Rollins burn it down? Why did he have to burn down the Firefly Funhouse of Bray Wyatt on Monday Night Raw?
I don't even know what's going on with that, man. I don't know what I don't know what they were thinking the morning of. I'm sure Vince probably showed up to whatever arena it was at and was like, I don't like it. Disqualification.
Well, truthfully, I think
the fans home
there's rumors saying that since The Fiend went to SmackDown, the Fox executives didn't want the Funhouse. And I think that's very disappointing because the Funhouse was one of the best parts of the Fiend character. It's the children's show kind of side segment of Bray Wyatt, and it's tremendous. It's creepy and it's pretty funny. And
the theory behind it too.
But Seth Rollins burned it down. I think is the end of the Funhouse, and we'll see how the Fiend character goes from there. He's going to SmackDown. You were right on one of the draftees.
Oh, yeah.
Randy Orton going to Raw.
It's such a pivotal move because, I like Randy Orton on Raw, and it makes sense because now he can put over, to be quite honest with you, I know they got Rollins, I know they got Becky Lynch, I know they got Randy Orton, I believe Baron Corbin is still on Raw, correct?
No, Corbin went to SmackDown.
See,
yeah.
And so once again, now I'm stuck.
Hearing that Orton might be a baby face. He might be a good guy.
It sucks. I don't want to sit here and start bashing WWE's booking and stuff, but I truly don't know what is going on. I don't know.
It was a messy draft.
Messy draft, terrible pay-per-view. The guy that they've groomed since 2014 to be the successor of the new, you had the John Cena era, you had Stone Cold era, and now they have it's the new generation of the mid 2000s, and I don't know what's going on.
Criticizing the draft for one of these reasons right here. Draft picks, you could draft a tag team. You use one pick on a tag team.
Yeah.
Raw drafted Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. 2 separate picks. They're a tag team. They drafted both of them 2 separate picks.
Traded, correct?
And then on WWE Backstage,
very weird trade too. Yeah,
it's the worst trade ever since Triple H was traded from SmackDown to Raw for Booker T and the Dudley Boys. I'll put my money on that. That's terrible.
That's kind of a fire trade.
Well, you don't know nothing about trading because you tried to trade me some bullshit in our fantasy league. But,
no, man.
But
no.
Anyway, here's the thing. That trade was
That's garbage,
what the trade was Nikki Cross
my name.
and Alexa Bliss, 2 separate draft picks. They couldn't have got him as a one.
And then they just ended up
they
trading.
trade him for future considerations, which does not make much sense because WWE's long-term booking. I don't even know if there's going to be a draft next year.
Yeah.
So what does that even
they
mean?
They had the wild card rule and all that. It makes all the sense in the world. They're basically just saying, hey, next time there's going to be a hot push or like there's going to be something that's happening.
Maybe make it something. Give him something like the first rights to an NXT star. Like, just don't play with. This is such a. Oh, and they advertised it as a blockbuster trade. Like, you're going to really see something crazy. And they got Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross going for nothing.
While we're on the draft, we kind of tapped into it last week. I'm wondering whether or not there's ever going to come a time where people like Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream, like, are they ever going to get moved up to SmackDown or Raw? Or are they going to become free agents or choose? Because I also said, in like the real world, like, say when their contracts are up from WWE altogether, like, like the...
Mentioned this last week.
They could leave.
Money thing, yeah.
Who's to say that they're not going to be like, wow, like, look at what Cody Rhodes and AEW, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Jericho, like, look what they've done. Like, AEW is going to become a serious staple. Like, this time next year, I don't know what the state of WWE will be in. They've been around forever. I'm sure they're still going to be a company, and they're still going to...
Well, we'll end the Raw portion of the gauntlet with who's going to be a breakout star on the Raw roster? I have mine, and I think he's going to be great. But see the Raw roster.
Yeah.
Give me a sleeper, dude. I think Aleister Black.
That's a serious one that just went over my head. I would like to. I like that new What's their name? The
Viking Warriors?
No, Street Profits, yeah.
Street Profits,
I like the Street Profits a lot.
That's an NXT call-up, but they're still kind of on NXT, which is a bit confusing.
Yeah, they're very green. Not green like they, obviously like they have cameos on Raw for a reason, but I think over time, one of the two is going to get a serious...
Montez Ford.
He's going to get a serious put. Like,
I agree.
I don't know what it is.
I like that breakout star.
Yeah, like, that's how they always go down the road, so...
Speaking of breakout stars and new things, AEW, the Inner Circle is here, man.
Get your shirts on.
Drink some bubbly to that. Yeah, I mean, you told me you were gonna get me an Inner Circle shirt, and it turned out you didn't. So
I lied.
You definitely lied.
That's what heels do.
The Inner Circle T-shirt, speaking of which, they actually broke the Pro Wrestling Tees website.
Yeah.
The first night. I mean, they're gonna make a ton of money off this factions T-shirts.
Even if I wasn't a wrestling fan, I'd be like, that's kind of a fire shirt.
Of course, the Inner Circle of Chris Jericho, Jack Hager, Santana and Ortiz, and Sammy Guevara. I can't say his last name. I changed.
Just say formally Elliot.
Guevara. Guy who has the panda hat.
Wait, he's the guy that comes to the...
He is known as the greatest ever. That's his nickname. And he's the Spanish God. That's his other nickname. And he sticks his tongue out for 90% of his existence.
As a fellow Puerto Rican, I support that. That's pretty...
At first, I hated the whole tongue thing. Like, he just kind of has his tongue. But now it's like, I kind of hate him. And that's the point of it. So,
yeah, exactly.
It's pretty cool. AEW, we got Full Gear coming up. Pay-per-view November 9th. We're going to send that. We're going to drink some beers for Full Gear. I can't wait. We have Cody versus Jericho.
That match is going to be crazy.
I agree. I cannot wait. John Moxley versus Kenny Omega. That's going to be a bloodbath, I hope. And I think we're going to have the Young Bucks versus Santana Ortiz. And, of course, a whole probably full card of great matches on Full Gear November 9th. What do you think about Cody versus Jericho? Any insight?
I was speaking with Scott earlier, and what I think about it is...
Scotty G.
Yeah, Scotty G, my dude. Shout out to T-Griff. Happy birthday, by the way. It's my guy also. But when I think about that match, I don't know if it's smart to give the belt to Cody right away. Because think about it. It's only 2 title defenses for Chris Jericho. It makes all the sense in the world to give the title to Cody. Like, he should be the guy to beat Jericho. I just don't know if right now.
You gotta have more build.
It just sucks because, like, as a fan, you're like, this is awesome. Like, we're getting the best matchup we can possibly get. Like, for example, like The Fiend versus Rollins. Like, yes, it's a good matchup. Could have waited. Cody versus Jericho. Could have waited. Now we're getting these matches all before the end of the year, where it's like, I'm a sucker for having things pan out.
I think we're in agreement that we want Jericho to have a long title reign.
Yeah.
Who do you think would be the one currently on the AEW roster to end his reign?
I really do think it would be Cody Rhodes. Although Kenny Omega, not to just sound like every wrestling fan ever, but it would be very cool and fitting. Like whatever happens, I just hope it's done right and it's not like. If anything, AEW just needs to realize, don't be like WWE. And that's a very simple formula.
And to transition off that, not be like WWE, AEW has a tag team tournament going on right now, and the shit is awesome. Yeah. They're doing the tournament how you're supposed to do the tournament. Within the brackets, there's been rivalries created, upsets. It's been exciting. Yep. The most recent AEW episode had CSU come out on top after...
SCU.
Oh, SCU. SoCal Uncensored. Thank you, Scotty G. They came out. They won after, of course, Christopher Daniels, TNA legend.
Shout out to Christopher Daniels.
Man took a nice, hard pile driver on the steel of the entrance ramp to be taken out before the match.
He's old enough to be my dad. He's like 52.
Yeah, he's
taking
a
serious
brute.
Bumps on Wednesday night. What a dog.
This guy named Scorpio Sky, who's in that same faction, he had to fill in, and man, Scorpio Sky did a great job in that match, and it got me excited for the entire tournament. And of course, the final four of that tournament right now: Private Party, SCU, SoCal Uncensored, the Lucha Brothers, who I know you're high on, and the Dark Order, who I like. Dark Order. I think could be the dark horse in this tournament, JQ. Who do you think is gonna prevail?
Super biased. I'm gonna go with the Lucha Bros. Just
because you're a Lucha bro. Yeah.
I guess me and my bro Steven, a couple little Puerto Rican guys, but
you kind of remind me of the shorter dude in Dark Order though.
That match with the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks were like one of I don't know which Jackson brother it was on the top of the ladder, and I don't know which Lucha Bro. I don't know their name exactly, but I know their names. I just can't.
The spot with the
where,
ladder.
Like they look at each other and like one of their partners is down on the table and the other one's down on the table, and they both just like, all right, babe, if you're gonna hurt my people,
so storytelling, man.
Yo, that's the thing. Like that's what WWE like.
It might separate.
Vince has lost his mind on just like it has to be sports entertainment because you can't blame him because he has so much tied into his actual business and the stock market. He's trying to please and impress everybody, which I understand, and that's exactly why over time I think Cody Rhodes and AEW is going to succeed because they're giving you pro wrestling, bro, and that's what we need right now.
I'm rooting for Private Party in that tournament. Of course, they had the big upset against the Young Bucks, which was just so well done. And, of course, now the Young Bucks are going to have to wait for their chance to win the tag team titles. And that'll be a nice build.
Good booking.
They're going at Santana and Ortiz of the Inner Circle in the Full Gear pay-per-view. And that's going to be a very entertaining match, too. I just love Jericho's demeanor towards Santana Ortiz. He's just going off saying, "Oh, they're pit bulls, they're thugs." It's kind of being a little racist, honestly, but it was good. It was pretty funny, and really got them over and made them legit badasses, which I believe they are. They're legit dudes. So we're transitioning now to NXT. Let me ask you something, JQ. Who's gonna challenge Adam Cole for the NXT title? You think? Because you have Finn Balor coming back. You have Tommaso Ciampa coming back from injury.
I think in my you can continue, but off rip, I would say Tomas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's someone I'm very high on. Triple H is also very high on. The dude is he's a pro wrestler, man. And as you hear it in my the way I talk, that's what we need right now. Like guys like that can really just.
The Undisputed Era is my favorite faction going on in wrestling right now.
Really?
Hey, the Inner Circle's new. The Inner Circle's new. Give it time. Give it time. But the prophecy, the whole you gotta give credit where credit's due. And the Undisputed Era with all four of their champions.
It's authentic. Yeah, it didn't seem forced. It really did.
Happened slowly.
It kind of did just Dolph Ziggler said it best. Like when something just happens so organically, like the original NWO, it's money.
And next week on NXT, it's been advertised a really cool spot and the ending of NXT this week. You had Donovan Dijak, I'm probably butchering his last name. Dude's from Boston, 6'8" dude.
What a dog.
Versus Keith Lee, ended in a disqualification. William Regal, who's just the GM of NXT, is just on his pedestal in the crowd. and Roderick Strong, the current North American champion, who interfered in the match. Yeah. William Regal from like the top out of nowhere, the light shines on him. He's like, "Hey, you're not slick, buddy." Like triple threat match next week versus Keith Lee, who is a massive dude.
Yo, William Regal's low key a dog.
William Regal is
he probably gets mad play, bro.
British play
out in Britain, yo. William Regal catching play and
William Regal and
back in the day. What do you mean, bro? He probably got mad money. He's William Regal. Like, yo, I'm from Britain. I wrestle. What's up? Like, all right. That's all it takes.
Speaking of getting play, sad news, of course, probably my favorite NXT player besides Adam Cole. Velveteen Dream is injured. His back really hurt. Think he's going to be out for a bit.
Some carrying NXT for a little bit. He's
the man, dude. His character is so unique, and I'm hoping the best for him.
He's like a Prince / Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Of a professional wrestler. Like he
has
a little bit of Macho Man in there.
Yeah,
some Macho Man
and
that match, kind of some Godfather
remember
almost.
Remember that match we watched with Matt Riddle, and they actually let Velveteen win, and I was convinced that they were gonna let Matt Riddle win.
Yeah.
They
have the chemistry.
I think that might be my favorite NXT match. Like obviously there's a whole bunch, there's a shitload.
I gotta be honest though.
To Sami Zayn, but like.
Oh, there's been a lot of great NXT matches, man. NXT has been
for
WWE at least in ring wise. NXT has been the forefront for
some of their
a while.
top 10 matches in the last 5 years have just come from that brand alone.
I hope the Dream comes back as a heel though. Right now he's been a babyface. They were so nicely set up for War Games with Undisputed Era, but they'll find a replacement, and hopefully the Dream comes back sooner rather than later. Of course, this week AEW ratings won again 3 weeks in a row. This week they had 1 million, NXT 700,000. Both declining a little bit, but you got to expect that with a new show, premieres, and what have you. Of course, sports and whatnot. But we'll transition to, speaking of ratings decline, SmackDown on Fox. You got The Fiend, you got Brock Lesnar, you got the Big D, Roman Reigns. I say the Big D because Sami Zayn had trash-talked Roman Reigns on Twitter and said the Big D, and Roman Reigns thought that was pretty funny because the Big D is the big dog Roman Reigns, Yeah. Everyone calls him that, right, Michael Cole?
Yo,
no one calls him that.
I just segue. I don't like how much attention Michael Cole gets on this podcast. That name might need to get banned or censored, like we talked about him a little last week. But SmackDown right now is in such a weird position because it could be a huge success being on Fox, but being on Fox is the type of thing where it's like, if this flops, I don't ever see Vince like being out of business for whatever reason, but like it could get the TNA effect of like, if Fox doesn't want you, like who's gonna want you?
Oh no, I wouldn't say that.
I'm not being dramatic in the sense like, if anything they can move over to the USA Network. They can't go to TNT because of AEW.
Well, next week it's already going to be on FS1 because of the World Series. But that would be a one-time thing. But
it's a one-time thing.
Maybe
but
foreshadowing, if the ratings aren't there, you're going to be on
saying.
FS1 instead of Fox Primetime.
It might come to the point where WWE's on like a TBS or even like an ESPN like one.
But we like to think with the power of positivity.
Optimistic, of course.
And of course, did you watch SmackDown last night? I know you didn't.
No.
I watched SmackDown last night because I'm the man, and I had some extra time to watch SmackDown. And it was the first real show of the new brand, because of course you had the premiere episode, you had The Rock talking about testicles. It's not going to be every week. And then you had the draft last week. So this is the first real episode, and let me just stay off rip, man. Daniel Bryan is the goddamn man. He's very trained by Shawn Michaels. I just think he's very Shawn Michaels like in the ring. It's just a pleasure watching him work.
He's good on the microphone too. Like when he came out with that new Daniel Bryan, like that was.
Well, here's the thing about that, man. He's kind of a face now, out of nowhere.
He was always a face, man. Even when he was a heel, people were just.
No.
Yes, he was.
No, when he was with Eric Rowan and he was talking about he was getting some heat. He wasn't doing the yes
I thought
no more.
It was fire. I'm like, yo, this dude is the man because he's speaking facts and people don't like facts, and that's why they're booing him.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan.
We'll see if it might not be a real face turn. He might turn on Roman Reigns because they have him tagging with Roman Reigns against Rowan and Harper and stuff. And of course, last night I think it was Zayn. The IC title match got disqualification, and they ended up having a tag team match with King Corbin, who interfered, Shinsuke
I don't like that, man.
versus Bryan and Reigns. It was pretty entertaining. Of course, the IC match was really good. There was a really good spot with Roman Reigns using one arm to pick up Shinsuke and slam him. But the thing is with Baron Corbin, I'll say, what I was talking about earlier with the whole, it's hard to be a babyface in wrestling right now, and being the heel is like kind of what gets you cheered. People sleep on Baron Corbin because, what do you just do? Man, he's a fucking heel. He's supposed to get that reaction. When you talk about Chris Jericho's a heel, and you fucking, he can tell you to eat shit right now. If you walk in the room, Chris Jericho tell you to eat shit, you'd be like, thank you. And I would do the same thing too, because Chris Jericho's a motherfucking man. But Baron Corbin is a heel in the sense of like, oh, I fucking hate this dude.
No, I don't hate him. I just legit think he's trash. There's so many other people.
Fair.
There's so many Scott. There's so many other people that are worthy of the position of him winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, the King
He won
of
it
the
twice,
Ring.
no?
No. He won it once. He got to be GM, which is an annoying role, but that's prominent TV time, and you get the King of the Ring, and you get Kurt Angle's last match. I'm sorry if you ever saw this. No disrespect, man. I know, cool, but no, you're not that good. You don't deserve any of that. Like
King Corbin would fuck you up, and
he could fuck me up, and I would still call him a bitch.
Like, he's got the coolest big man moveset.
Thank you, Scotty G.
End of days, and the Deep 9 or Deep 6. They're pretty good.
Of course, we have Bayley turning heel, taking out the Bayley Buddies. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Becoming a bad guy. And right before we go to part 2 soon, let me give me the breakout star of SmackDown.
I'm gonna say Elias. He didn't end up going to Raw. I think Elias over time, it might be in like, I don't know, February or March.
Whenever he returns.
Yeah, they'll probably give him like a little push during like the road to WrestleMania, and then
I'm about to knock it out of the park. Dana Brooke. She is due. She is. Don't give me that look, Scotty G. She's sexy, she performed very well in the 6-pack challenge there was last night.
Or do you think she's gonna?
I think all of SmackDown's women are very attractive, and I enjoyed the 6-pack challenge last night. That was won by Nikki Cross. She's a number 1 contender for Bayley's championship. Also, 2 breakout star Kofi Kingston. I know he just lost the WWE championship, but last night during their segment with Heavy Machinery, everyone's been criticizing Kofi because, like, how come you're not fucking mad about losing to Brock Lesnar in 7 seconds? You lost the title and you're over here very subtly, very subtly last night while he was talking to Heavy Machinery about losing the title, crushing the pancake. Being very frustrated, but, like, being kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Passive-aggressive. But here we go now. Scotty G, who we've been hearing over there, he's coming on. Part 2 coming up.
So, you think you're untouchable?
Word live with the 2009 sectional Quincy High wrestling champion in the same prestige elite company as Brock Lesnar, Jack Hager, and a bunch of other elite wrestlers. I'm with Scott Griffin himself. Welcome.
You forgot Kurt Angle.
Wow. I should leave and stop talking about wrestling. What we're about to be doing right now, we're going to be going over the current, the last pay-per-view that WWE just had, Seth Rollins versus The Fiend in the Hell in a Cell main event. We're going to be watching it and giving our commentary on the match itself.
I don't know what to do.
Let me just start off by saying the lighting.
I didn't like it.
I don't know why it's red.
I like the red cage though.
I mean, yeah,
the
the concept of the cells.
I think you're able to see through it better. That's what I thought, at least. In this finish.
It makes me sad, man.
First of all, The Fiend already hit him with a sledgehammer. He hit him with a giant sledgehammer. And this is what gets him DQ'd.
I'm convinced Vince does drugs, bro.
So stupid. I just want to say I'm wearing this shirt, Burn It Down, Seth Rollins, ironically. Because I knew we were going to be watching this, and I knew we were going to be talking about it.
If I paid money for this, like if I went to this show and I saw all this happening, I would just
when I watched this live, I thought the Fiend was gonna do the Undertaker sit-up, which he absolutely should. He's a paranormal like freak of nature.
It just sucks because like you watch it, it's just like why. They thought that this was gonna be the cool booking that like the match ended like abruptly, like it stopped, and now they're gonna have like a chaotic like fight, but no one wanted to see that.
No.
That's why I said like why are you gonna put the Fiend in the main event of a championship match in the month of October, knowing you're not gonna give him the title? I don't understand it.
First of all, he's the spookiest character in the longest time,
while.
and
Since
it's
the
in
other
October, the spookiest month of the year. Like.
Yeah,
it's just so fitting.
If you are going to capitalize on it, you might as well do it in October. But no, you're just going to book your hardest star in the company to lose. Well, not really lose, but not gain anything.
Fucking blood capsule in the mouth.
I do like how they do like the whole sound effect and like the black and whites, but
they botched it.
Just garbage.
The fans were shouting, "Restart the match."
Yeah.
Or run it back.
Here's the thing, Scott. You pay like $12. I don't know, like $12 for like a beer or a hot dog. I would have personally went to the stand and bought one of those just to throw it, just to show how mad I am. I'm willing to spend my hard-earned money, my extra hard-earned money. I'm already at the show, just to show how upset I am.
Yeah, they ruined it.
But how do you think if you were the booker, if you could have booked this match, what would you have done from start to finish? Like, how would you...
So, booking the match, I mean, I don't know how to make that better other than make the Fiend win. But from here on forward, like, I got some ideas where, Seth Rollins gets the DQ, and I've written down some stuff. I'll just run by, right? So, I got after the Hell in a Cell, right? After the Hell in a Cell, I got Bray Wyatt goes missing. Right, they queue up Firefly Funhouse, and they have a new guest. Because Firefly Funhouse is very much like Blue's Clues. That's what it reminds me of. It's friggin' Blue's Clues.
But
so they replaced Steve with Joe. Yeah. Right.
That's a solid analogy.
So I got them replacing Bray.
Yeah.
And none other than Liv Morgan replaces Bray Wyatt.
She's supposed to be like the Sister Abigail.
Yeah, kind of like that,
yeah.
right? No blue tongue though, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'll bring in the blue tongue later, right? So Seth Rollins beat the Fiend, right? Yeah. And I want him to like ride high on that. I want him to just start talking about
like
how
he put him out of commission on the shelf, like no more. Yeah.
And then Liv Morgan just starts berating Seth, talking about how the Fiend, he can't be beaten. He, it didn't end in a pin, right?
Talking to him like in godlike form, yeah.
Then I got he starts sounding crazy, and he starts seeing the Fiend. In every backstage promo that he has, you'll have like a monitor in the background, and they just flash the Fiend real quick.
Kind of like how they did with Undertaker and Orton back in like 05. Like Orton would look in the mirror, and all of a sudden the Undertaker's behind him.
Exactly.
He put water on his face. He's not. I like that.
Only Seth can see it, right? He's getting interviewed by JoJo or Charlie or whatever, only he sees it. He starts going a little crazy. He feels like he's being stalked by him. He gets a little bit of PTSD, is how I kind of see it. Yeah. And then, like, every week, Liv Morgan just keeps berating him. And she doesn't show up on TV, just like Bray didn't show up on TV.
It's all just, like, little vignettes. Like,
exactly. What else do I got on here? And then Liv, she tells Seth that Bray, he went out on an adventure or something, and he found a new friend. And that new friend
introduces a new character.
Yeah, the new friend, I already gave her a name and everything. It's Frenzy. Yeah. Fiend and Frenzy. And it's Liv Morgan's Fiend persona. Yeah. And she's got the blue tongue. I don't give her a mask like the Fiend has. I give her like some face makeup or something.
Like an edgy,
And the Fiend and Frenzy, they have like a Joker Harley Quinn type thing. Like kind of an abusive relationship almost. Like, I don't know. WWE likes to capitalize on pop culture type stuff. Joker just came out, hottest movie in town, right? And then Frenzy starts beating up Becky Lynch. They wanted to do the whole Becky Lynch Seth Rollins thing, boyfriend girlfriend. Like,
I see how I liked how you tied that in there.
Yeah,
you kind of made it seem like it's two separate storylines that are.
And they'll converge.
And that would be a good way to start the new year. Like if all this started in January.
Yeah, I got I have it here. Like Survivor Series is in November, and Becky Lynch has to have an opponent. I'm not going to put Frenzy in there because that's going to be built up. I'd say debut her where she interferes and injures Becky. Becky's got to relinquish the title, right? Yeah. And that will set up Becky for the future for a return because Becky
it seem like she never lost.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Becky's the hottest thing in wrestling. The man, like you were saying earlier, the Survivor Series, like. That shit was natural. Like, she had the bloody nose. That wasn't scripted.
No, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, her energy, man, like, when I saw that on film, I was just like...
Nia Jax broke her nose.
And she, like, naturally, she just tapped into, like, her feet. Like, the way she carried herself, I was like, wow, this female is impressive.
So, after Frenzy, attacks Becky Lynch, Bray returns to the Firefly Funhouse, and they kind of, like, co-host it and, again, antagonize Seth Rollins. And then I got Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins at TLC. That's the next big pay-per-view, at least after Survivor Series. Yeah. And it's a squash match. He just beats the crap out of Seth Rollins.
For the title?
Yeah, for the title.
So you're saying that...
And not a quick squash match. I'm talking like just tortures him, beats the crap out of him.
Because here's the thing. Everything that you just said... doesn't suck in the sense that it's terrible. It's just like it's good that it sucks that they're not gonna.
I know.
You know what I mean? That's
WWE. If you're listening,
hence the words fantasy. But the thing is, it's like so. What you're saying is they wanted to upset their fans in October at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view just to give them too much. Like what I was trying to explain in the earlier podcast is I don't know why they booked their hottest superstar. And like just like when like think about like retail or something, like when you're like selling stuff, if you're trying to like push a product during the wrong season or the wrong, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
you don't sell shorts during the winter.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You're not gonna sell a whole bunch of grills during like February or January. So why are you gonna put your hottest item that you have in your company in the Fiend Bray Wyatt and put him in an October pay-per-view, especially doing what you did, ending the match the way it did? And then you're going to try to follow it up by having the same main event, like, basically. They're fighting in Crown Jewel. They're having a Falls Count Anywhere match. I don't know if it's for the title. I know they're having a match in Saudi Arabia. So
I don't think they should do that at all. Like, and especially the way they've been finishing them. The week before Hell in a Cell, Seth Rollins, like, curb stomped him to death. Or even before that, he did the same finish to Brock Lesnar to win the title. Yeah, he does. He does 6 curb stomps to Brock Lesnar to win the title.
Finishers don't mean the same anymore, and that's what sucks. Like
unless you're Kenny Omega.
When Triple H used to hit people with a pedigree, it's a wrap. You're done. You're going to sleep.
They got to protect him.
3 count. See you in the water.
Razor's Edge is 100% pinning.
Sweet Chin and Music. Batista.
Everybody's got a super kick now.
And you would think with the curb stomp supposed to be like a lethal move, even though it's cool.
It's a cool move.
It's cool,
Set up one of the best RKOs of all time.
Yeah, at WrestleMania.
Look that up.
That was dope.
Randy Orton, Seth Rollins RKO. Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah, it just sucks, man.
So
it just comes down to the booking.
Going on from TLC, I have Fiend squashing Seth Rollins.
Okay.
And, over the past few months, he's been attacking people that have done him wrong.
Like Mick Foley,
yep.
etc.
Well, Mick Foley didn't done him wrong, but he attacks...
He's trying to make well, that's why I brought that God theory in, because, like, they say, like, Mick Foley's the wrestling god, and, like, there's you can look it up, and, like, anybody who's listening, there's theories that, Bray Wyatt and The Fiend are supposed to be, like, I don't know, like, he found peace with himself, that's why he's all about forgiveness, this and that, but then, like, The Fiend's supposed to be, like, his inner demon.
So, I got The Fiend just attacking Randy Orton. No reason. No reason at all. Obviously, the draft kind of ruins this whole fantasy booking for me because people, Fiend's on SmackDown, Randy Orton's on Raw. But I came up with this before the draft. So, he attacks Randy Orton. Randy Orton's got some connections with Triple H, obviously Evolution. And
it's getting deep now. You're like crossing different universes of...
So, Orton goes to Triple H to... get a match with The Fiend and try to stop The Fiend because The Fiend is just beating everyone. I got him weekly on Raw and he's just beating everyone. Doesn't matter who it is. He's entering matches. Like, what champion interferes in matches? Yeah. It doesn't really happen, but The Fiend does it. I got The Fiend squashing everyone, throwing at him, and the Authority, they need to get someone to beat him because he's just ruining the product from their eyes, right? And it all comes down to SummerSlam, where they get, and I would love for this to happen. I would love to see all of us go to
SummerSlam in Boston, Massachusetts, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I want to go.
Hometown.
Demon Finn Balor beats The Fiend.
That's what I originally wanted to. I thought that was going to
be
Demon
Finn Balor.
The first rivalry that was going to happen.
It was the first person he attacked was Finn Balor. Put him away. Yeah. Now he's on NXT, and
you know, for everything you just told me, it's great booking, man. It just sucks that they're just not going to do it. And you know, you just built up a whole Road to WrestleMania storyline of 2K. That's just not going to happen, and you know it sucks because it's impressive.
I have a plan until next August.
It's definitely impressive. You know, for all the wrestling fans that will listen to this and hear it, they'll definitely be like, "Wow, like you know, this man Scotty G has a good consensus of what he's talking about." But
it's called long-term booking, and WWE doesn't have it.
No, that's what you just brought it. You just nailed the. You know, you just brought up the fact that they used Finn Balor to, you know, in a sense it's smart. They introduced The Fiend by using someone of Finn Balor's caliber, but then you just ship him off to NXT.
Exactly.
Like, whenever that does resurface, I'm sure they probably...
And he's going to be the hottest thing in NXT like he was before.
It makes sense. I don't know.
Prince Devitt, shout out.
Yeah,
Real rock and roller.
It's just something that we're definitely going to have to stay in tune with, but... A
little bit of more detail on The Fiend being Universal Champion. Just, you know, cool things that I thought up of. Have Bray wear the title, the real Universal title, the red one, the ugly one.
But then have the Fiend wear.
Have the Fiend carry out a like demonetized looking one, like or not like demonized looking one.
Yeah.
Like it's all like he brings out a severed head. Like
so something that's just like out of the norm.
It's all grotesque looking, like vine, swamp, like kind of bringing back to the old Bray Wyatt look.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, they're gonna drop the ball.
Oh, for sure. I have no faith in what's going on.
We just talked to you guys to death about this whole situation. Just know that things are gonna get messed up. Everything we just said is just gonna fall through. And
they ruined Bray once, they'll ruin him again.
You will be disappointed. I think this is a good time to wrap it up, and we're gonna be moving on to our next part.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Welcome back to part 3 of The Heel's Turn. I'm Jimmy Askins. This is JQ. For part 3, we always like to do something kind of creative, wacky, whatever have you. Last week we did or not last week, 2 weeks ago we did the draft of Divas. My team was way better than JQ's. It sounded like you're going to say, it looked like you're going to say something. You obviously know facts. I had a better 5. That draft was easy pickings for me. But this week we're going to play a kind of a wacky game called the equivalent game. The topic will be the NFL. We're going to find the NFL equivalent for each superstar that we give each other and give them the WWE equivalent of that player. It could be a former or a current NFL player. We're going to go back and forth and explain to you why this guy is this guy and so and so. So JQ, your first comparison / equivalent you got to make. Who is the WWE's Ezekiel Elliott?
Are we talking like in their prime, or like are we talking about people that have been in the WWE before? Or are we talking about
pro wrestling? Actually, just give me pro wrestling.
See, that changes.
Who's Ezekiel Elliott
multiple doors
in pro wrestling?
Ezekiel Elliott,
young running back, kind of had some trouble with the law a little bit with treating the females. You know who
you're making this dude sound like he's like a Jeff.
The best running back in the league, mind you. So who's kind of like
when
that?
I think of Ezekiel Elliott, I think of like endurance. I think of like swag. Wow, man, that's just. I feel like I feel like I just got punched in the face of like a stumped question. I'm gonna go with not gonna go with MVP. I'm gonna go with Ezekiel Elliott, man. Wow, that's a hard.
I got you stumped.
I mean, all right. Can I get back to that? Or?
You can get back to that.
Yeah, I won't skip it.
The next one, guy I think you may have heard of before, Tom Brady.
Ric Flair, man.
Dirtiest player in the game. I actually love that one.
Yo,
Big cheetah Tom Brady is.
Woo! I mean, hey, you know.
And the greatest of all time. You probably will get 16 Super Bowl rings.
Elliott, knowing that he's a Cowboys fan. He's a snake. I'm gonna give him Ooh, I want to give him someone spiteful.
You about it? Oh,
I want to
shit.
give him someone spiteful. I don't even want to. I want to give him like a trip. Bret Hart. Bret Hart had swag, bro.
I'm not denying that.
Bret
but
Hart
like,
had drip, and apparently, his accolades prove that he was a great talent. I mean, even though I disagree.
you know what,
with
Elliott with the NFL, he does get screwed. Roger Goodell screwed Ezekiel Elliott, just like
wow,
Vince McMahon screwed
I didn't even
Bret
think
Hart.
about that, but that's a fire analogy.
That's.
Only
I think you're killing
difference
it.
is I think Bret Hart's
And the last
overrated.
last NFL star I have for you, you're gonna give me 3 afterwards. I'm gonna give you Mike Vick. Who is the WWE's Mike Vick?
What, bro?
Yeah,
That's just such a.
Mike Vick, very
You're
saucy, very famous NFL player.
Who also murdered.
He also murdered dogs.
He
You
murdered
you gotta
dogs,
mention
bro.
the murder dogs part.
I'm tagging someone's name to a dog. I don't.
You can ignore the dog part or include the dog part.
Okay.
Junkyard dog.
I mean,
I
hey,
don't know.
Michael Vick, one of the greatest video game character of all time.
Madden 04, of course.
yeah.
He'd be like Brock Lesnar of Here Comes the Pain. Oh, gosh.
The Michael Vick.
I think that's Mike. Oh, maybe.
I'm gonna go with Michael. I'm gonna go with Randy Orton. The reason why I choose Randy Orton is because Randy Orton is the man. But a lot of his backstage stories of like him taking like poops and like the Diva,
Kinda like killing dogs.
Diva's bag.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
You
if
take a
killing
poop-
dogs and taking poops in a girl's bag are on the same like scale, but
Yeah, I kind of like that one. Plus,
you-
Randy Orton, like very like well liked superstar, like
He's a
popular.
dog.
You
I
know?
mean, no pun intended. He's a dog.
He's a
you know,
dog.
like he's the man. Like he's the man. Like dogs poop. Fucking Michael Vick Mercs. I don't know.
So give me my equivalents.
I
you don't have
kinda-
images for this one.
I kind of went with some random people.
Yeah, it's cool.
So the first one, I'm just gonna go with former Super Bowl overrated quarterback Joe Flacco. Who's the Joe Flacco of the WWE? Someone who's clearly won something.
Jinder Mahal, I think, is the
Wow.
Joe Flacco
I was
because
gonna say Jack Swagger.
won
but-
a Super Bowl. He won the WWE Championship for whatever reason. But he still exists, just like Joe Flacco still exists in Denver. So I think
Wow, yeah. Once you
Jinder
win it
Mahal.
once, man, you know what they say.
it was so the defense of the Ravens that year would be the Singh brothers for Jinder. That'd be the
Well, you
comparison.
kind of just strangely, I don't know why my mind took me this way. I also put Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis. Gonna say it.
Really think about that.
I'm gonna
one.
say it.
Kane.
Well, know what? Ray Lewis didn't kill a man. Chris Benoit did
Oh, God.
with his wife and kids and himself.
That's another thing. Chris Benoit and Michael Cole get too much references on this show.
So who's a Ray Lewis? I go Ahmed Johnson from the 90s, big black dude.
I respect.
No nonsense, like pump up. I could see him doing the Ray Lewis dance, like getting.
I was gonna go more of like Umaga, just like a crazy ass, like
Nah, that'd
just
be
trying
that would be
just trying to spike your throat and eat your soul.
that
like
would be
some Mike Tyson shit, eat your children type shit.
no, that's good. That's good. Who's the last one?
Brian Urlacher, that dude was a dog. Wow.
Brock fucking Lesnar.
So-
Brian
so-
Urlacher.
So what was it once again? So Joe Flacco is
Jinder Mahal. Ray Lewis.
is
Who did I say?
Ahmed Johnson.
Ahmed Johnson.
All right.
Don't smoke weed, kids, or do.
Don't smoke mids.
Good for CTE on the NFL.
Anybody who's watching this, mids,
Only
bro.
loud, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of loud, follow us on Twitter, Heels Turn. Great tweets. I sometimes live tweet all the shows. Instagram again, the Heels Turn, and YouTube too. Subscribe, the Heels Turn. We got last week where I was telling you the at names and it was some complicated fucking mumbo jumbo. This time I actually realized we have all the at names, the Heels Turn. We got those.
That's
so,
impressive.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You gotta give us some
Shout out
credit.
T Madden, who's supposed to be the guest tonight, who named the show the Heels Turn. Shout out to Mass Music. Shout out to Scotty G.
Shout out to T Griff once again. Happy birthday, bro.
Yep, happy birthday. Thank you to Shlomo Bo and Mass Music Headquarters. This is the Heels Turn.
Shout out to my dude Mike.
Magic Mike,
Drop my pen.
who I'm going to help with the greatest promo of all time for Barstool's Rough and Rowdy. So, Bo, yeah, that's about it, man. Nice quick show. It was a good time tonight. Gonna be some, of course, Full Gear, AEW's pay-per-view coming November 9th. I can't wait to watch that. Maybe we do a live stream. Maybe we'll drink some beers, watch some wrestling.
Drink some stoves.
Yeah, make it happen, you know? Because we're
Smoke
young.
some weed.
Smoke some weed.
I don't know. Watch some wrestling.
Be some heels. That's it. And that's our
I
show.
like that idea.
Yeah. Jimmy Askins, JQ, heading out.
Glory! victorious. No, I won't give in, I won't give in.